So hi everyone, hi Vincent.
Hey Jonas.
Welcome to this session for SCOMathon 2021. Today we will show you how to get started with a newly released SCOM connector for Microsoft Teams. My name is Jonas Vincent and here with me today is Vincent de Vries, who will co-present together with me. The topics for today will cover a basic overview of the connector and how it works, and we will also show you how you can get up and running in just 15 minutes. We are going to show you just how easily you can set this up directly from within Teams, and let's move on over to the demo. So here we are now in Microsoft Teams, and you can see that I've created a team called SCOMathon 2021, and I have a channel named SCOM Connector. From here, I will click the plus sign and add a new application. I search for SCOM and you will see the OpsLogix SCOM Connector. From here, you can click on add to add it to the existing channel, but you can also add it in other ways, right, Vincent?
Yeah, that's correct. You can add it in many ways in Teams, so that's very flexible. Even after you click add, you can still alter the team or channel which you want to add it to.
All right, so moving on, we will click on add. And here you will get a pop-up window showing that you will add this to the tab, and you will see a new configuration tab added to the channel. This is where you can continue the configuration later on. So this is a free subscription from the first release. I know that we are working on some other features, right, Vincent?
Yeah, we're working on many features. So basically what you have right now is you can add one SCOM management group to a team. We would like to also make it so that you can actually have filters. So if you have a Wintel team and you have something like a VMware team, you can divide those up into different teams or channels of a team from the same SCOM management group. So those are actually two features, two main features which we still want to include. And of course, you know, there's many other things we want to include, but I don't think we have time to discuss those.
But for the free version, we only allow for one SCOM management group per team, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. All right, we will move on. We'll click on save. And before we can continue with the setup, we have to give consent for the connector to actually read information about your tenant that you set up. Could you please just explain a little bit about the permission required here?
Yeah, definitely. So you need to consent that the connector connects into the Graph API, which is basically getting information out of your Azure subscription. And we don't really ask for that much. All we really want to do is verify that you are really who you say you are. So your email address, your name, and so forth. And also the application needs admin consent so that it can actually create an enterprise application in your tenant.
And I know that you can also, as a team admin, you can actually change these settings so you can allow your users to actually give consent on these basic settings that we, or permissions that we require for the connector, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, we will move on. We will accept the permissions requested. And after this, we will be presented with a new window where we can set up the connector. So there is some requirements that we do have for the connector to run on the machines that the connector's workflows will execute on, right?
Okay, so there's a couple of things we actually need here and which you need to pay attention for when you import the management pack. You need to import the .NET Framework 4.7.2 or higher. I know we're in 4.8 or 4.9 almost already. And we need at least the .NET Core Framework 3.1. So you need to have those installed on the management servers on which you're going to be running the connector. Now it's run off a a resource pool. So if you have that resource pool spanning multiple management servers, you need to install these components on all the management servers you're going to be running it on.
Yeah, and it won't run unless you meet these requirements.
No, you'll just get a bunch of errors in your SCOM event log.
Yeah. All right, and from here you can also take a look at the alert criteria. So the alert criteria is the basic filtering that we have the possibility now to filter out which alerts that we would like to have, and this alert criteria is the same that works if you would run the get SCOM alert and use the criteria. So you can always test it out to see if the criteria is working, and then you can save it into the alert criteria box here and hit save. What this actually does is that the criteria will be saved into the management pack that you will download. So after this, we will just click on the download client button, which will show you a pop-up window, hit OK, and Teams will download the file and put it into your downloads folder. Moving on to the SCOM side, we now have the management pack in the downloads folder, so we will just extract it. And just save the path, and then go back to the Operations Manager console, go over to Administration, Management Packs, right-click, Import Management Packs. So as Vincent told us before, we do have two management packs that we need to install, and the one is the overrides with all the settings, and the other one is the binaries that we have for the Signal R connections. When this management pack is imported, we can move over to the resource pools. And from the resource pools pane, we can actually choose where these workflows will execute. So we will switch this over to a manual membership. And then we will take out one of the management servers in the pool and just save one of the machines, so we know where the workflows are running. For troubleshooting, Vincent, it's easier to have one of the management pools executing all the workflows, right? So you know where the events is going to get generated.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, otherwise it might be flip-flopping around your management servers if something is going wrong. So I would definitely start off with one management server, and when you're confident everything is running correctly, then you can add the management servers you originally planned to.
All right, moving on, we will click Save here. And before we will continue with the next part, I would just like to show you a little bit about the run as accounts that we also have inside of the connector. Yeah, so a good way and a good example of working with this run as profile is to actually limit the what type of tasks or information that you would like the connector to actually send over to Teams, because when you're working inside of the Teams connector, it's not you as your user that's interacting with SCOM, right? It's the run as accounts of the connector.
Yeah, that's correct.
So here you can just set up a different account, and then you can actually, create a new account that's just for the workflows of the SCOM connector, and then you can, over in the security settings, you can actually choose and scope down the permissions that the connector will have. So you can, for example, just add the read-only operators role to the connector. And before we are going to continue, we are going to just take a look at the event log to see that the workflows have started to run. And here we can see that the criteria is configured correctly accordingly to the configuration pane. Moving back to Operations Manager, I have created a view here called Teams Connector and prepared 4 alerts that's in a resolution state called Awaiting Evidence. We can also see from the configuration pane here that the environment that you're working on is connected. So you can actually see the management group name and which of your servers that is currently communicating with Microsoft Teams. Moving back to SCOM, just choose all 4 alerts, right-click, change the resolution state to Teams Connector for SCOM. moving over to the event log just to verify that we have the connection up and that is calling the hub here with 4 alerts. We can then move back to Teams, click on Posts, and we see now that we have a couple of new alerts inside of Teams. So here you can see that you have the name of the alert. We can also see, of course, that we have the alert resolution state, Teams Connector for SCOM. You can see when it's created, we have a couple of tabs that we can work on, or buttons. So here you can see more information about the alert. You can also click on the tabs that we have, so knowledge, history, alert context, etc. Moving on, we can, from here, change the resolution state. And this view is taken directly from SCOM, right, Vincent? So we don't have any caching or anything. Every time that we interact with an alert here, it actually goes and asks SCOM about the current resolution states, right?
Yeah, that's correct. You'll always have an up-to-date view of the resolution states.
Still pretty fast, though.
Oh yeah, I was very surprised, well, pleasantly surprised that it's pretty fast. So that's also why I'm excited about it.
Yeah. All right, we will continue. We also have exposed some of the tasks, and this is where we discussed previously about setting up the correct run as profile. So if you have a lot of tasks available for the targets that you don't want the users to see here, you can scope them out so you don't have those exposed inside of Microsoft Teams. Speaking of speed, we can also see performance for the targets that we have here. And when it's collecting or showing the performance, Vincent, it's not showing every rule that's available in SCOM, right? You will only get the performance that have data on it.
Yeah, that's correct. So what you'll see is actually you get a live performance graph in this view. And what I mean about live is that it's actually up-to-date performance information, which has gone directly from your SCOM environment. And you'll only, like you said, will get performance counters which actually have information on them. And
also, the data is being grouped, right? So there's not one row per data. So if you have multiple instances of the same counter, it will group it here, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
All right, so we will continue to click on the performance button here. And remember, this is live data. It's going back into SCOM, collecting this data. And you can see from this target, we have 3 different counters available. For the last part of this demo, I would like to show you that you can actually schedule maintenance from here. So you can see that you have all the same reasons for setting the maintenance. And for this one, I will just type in under maintenance and choose an end date and the end time. Set maintenance mode. And you can see that the bot will reply to the actions that you take, right?
It's pretty cool.
And also the user context, if you hover over the name, it will show you information about the user. And I can also include you in this conversation. So, Vincent, do you want me to create a ServiceNow ticket from this one?
I think so.
All right, so the next step would be for me to change the resolution state, because we have a separate resolution state that the ServiceNow connector is connected to. So we just hit create ServiceNow ticket, write a comment, and click update. And you can see that the bot will respond to your action again. All right, so this concludes the demo and how to set the SCOM connector up and running in just 15 minutes. So thank you, Vincent. Thank you, everybody that was listening and attending this session. And we wish you a pleasant event.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.